Okie dokie artichoke. That's gonna be our catchphrase to start these lives off. So, yeah, let's kick this off. So, gonna wait so we got some family rolling in here. As you can see, we are back in our office, aka my room, aka where I spend probably 90% of my day because I'm just like typey type all day. But I figured this was just a good environment for this one, for to help kick off this what is this, Q&A 7? I feel like this is Q&A 7 or 8 in a row. So yeah, when you're dropping in, let me know where you're from. If your name is in your username for Instagram, I will announce you and where you are from. So yeah, let me know where you're let me know where you're from, and we can kick this off. So also, we got Tony from Chicago, we got Ohio in here, we got Washington, and yeah, let me know. London, Scotland, Miami, Colorado. This is kind of difficult, but yeah, we're rocking with it. San Jose, Krista from Texas, Chance from Columbus, or just like say your name. That's honestly going to be super easy for me. Just say your name, where you're from, instead of me trying to decipher your username. Chance from Columbus. We got Washington in the house. We got Manuel from Mexico, Indonesia, Texas, PA, Ohio, Winter Garden, Florida, Romania. I love it. Berlin, Arizona, Malaysia, yeah, Chicago. All right, so yeah, the way that I'm actually going to do these Q&As from now on, or at least for these lives, is instead of me like answering just like an infinite number of questions until I want to cut it at like 45 minutes, I'm going to just do 5 questions, short and sweet, give like as succinct advice or whatever it is, like answer the question as I possibly can. Alan from Cameroon, based in PA. Okay, let's go. Okay, Alan. Maddie from Bridgeport, Chicago, Canada, California, Tennessee, Indonesia. Love it. And yeah. So yeah, if you want to drop any comments or questions in the comments, Micah from San Diego, Holly from Michigan, I can answer those too. But as I was saying, basically I just want to make this as beneficial, as best as I can, and I want to be able to like serve, hopefully that you can take something away from watching this on your Friday afternoon, Friday evening, whenever you're tuning in from. We got Emmy from Philly, we've got UK in here, and Maryland, Maddie from Westchester, New York. Where am I from? I'm Connor from Pittsburgh. Currently live in LA, but I'm calling from Pittsburgh. So yeah, so we got 5 questions pulled out. We did our little 20-minute prep, probably a little bit, honestly, probably 20 minutes. We did a little 20-minute prep to make sure that this was as beneficial as we possibly can, as efficient, as smooth as I can possibly make it, to help benefit you guys, to help serve you as best I can. Also comment down below. This is going to be for after I post this, so comment down below if you're catching on the replay. If you miss it, you don't want to stay for the whole, there's probably going to be like 20 minutes or something like that. So Maddie from Chicago, Bridgeport, said it again, there we go. And yeah, so I will go over the highlights that we're going to go over today. So 5 questions we got today that I'm just going to go through, answer to the best of my abilities. I don't really have these recorded or rehearsed. It's just like, all right, these are the 5 that I'm going to go over, and yeah, hopefully you can take something from it. So the highlights from this Q&A link is going to be, we've got crying, kids, faith, college, and last but not least, toxic traits. So yeah. Yeah, and can I get a go Bills? Go Bills. Yeah, go Bills. Go Bills. Go Steelers, but also go Bills. So yeah. Hi from Dubai. We got Dubai in here. Okay, we got the whole globe in here again, as always. And yeah, so that's going to be the topics for today. We got crying kids, faith, college, toxic traits. And yeah, that's how we're just going to rock through these for the next 15 minutes or so. So I'm not going to take up 45 minutes of your time, because who has time to do that? And yeah, hopefully I got I can give you guys some little nugget you can take with you into the weekend. And yeah, so let's start this off. So topic number 1 from our highlights from these 5 is going to be crying. So it's going to be our number 1 that we're going to go over right now. So the anonymous question on this is, have you ever cried at school? So yeah, so I don't know if like I've ever told anyone this, but so I went to like public school when I was like in elementary school, middle school, high school. Went to undergrad for college like after high school, like if you're not from the US, like university basically. And then I went to grad school, right? After undergrad. So I would say probably the only time that I have cried from, I guess, school. Now, I don't know if I necessarily cried like while I was at school, but I remember this one day when I was in middle school. So you have these lockers, right? Like these huge lockers. When I was in middle school, they were literally like this, like they were taller than you, right? And like everyone's in middle school, like I was super, like I hadn't hit puberty yet. Like I was super small and super skinny, right? So when I was like opening up like my locker one time, I was like bent down to like try and pick like getting my books or something. So I was like put my books at the bottom of my locker. And I remember like one time I was like down like picking up my books and my locker would like open this way, right? So it was like, you know, this was sort of like shielding me. Like I didn't know like anyone who was on that side of it. And I remember this kid used to like just like mess with me a lot. And he like kicked my locker and it just nailed me right in my like the side of my temple. And dude, it hurt so bad. I don't think it like cut me or anything like that, but dude, it hurt so bad. And I was like, I don't know, 13 years old or 6th, 7th grade or something like that. And like, I didn't like cry like in that moment, but I remember like coming home that day and just like crying or something, like on the bus, like, crying when I was coming home, like crying on the bus. So, yeah, it's okay if you want to cry, and you're a man, first of all. It's okay. And second, if you're in middle school and something like that's happening to you, first off, like if you see that happening to someone, like go and stick up for that person, you know. That's what I would say. And then also, like, don't ever do that. Don't ever be the person to ever do that. And if you see someone doing that, like go and like stick up for someone or like go tell someone about that, because yeah, that's not cool. So yes, I have cried at school, and it wasn't from getting like a bad grade or something like that, but it was like literally some kid like kicking my locker and it's just nailing me in the side of my face, and it hurt so bad. But yes, I have. So yeah, that was the answer to number 1. Second highlight that we're going to go over is about kids. So this question is this question is going to be, do you want kids eventually? Do you want kids eventually? Answer to this, absolutely. I feel like I've answered this a couple times, but yeah, so I got this like timeline in my head as far as like visualizing this goes. I think like my parents were like 30, probably like young 30s when they had me. I think my dad was like 34. I think my mom was like 31, maybe 30. So honestly, right around like that time, like give me 10 years, give or take, and certainly want kids, certainly want a family. I think that's like the pinnacle like thing. You know, there's different dimensions you have in your life, right? You have like career, you have family, you have, you know, self-development, you have you know, maybe like friendships and other kind of like relationships related to that. So I think like obviously like in the family realm, like that's like the pinnacle goal that like we want to hit, right? Like we want to have a family, we want to be a dad, cannot wait to be a dad. I feel like I'll just be the best dad in this entire world. But yes, we certainly want kids, absolutely. And probably somewhere like by the time like mid-30s, that'd be cool. I think that'd be pretty nice. So that was question one. We got crying checked off. We got kids checked off. Third one, we're going to talk a little bit about faith now. So, if you watch my stories, like every now and then on Sundays, sometimes I'll put up like a video of me attending mass for that Sunday, right? So, basically this question is kind of like related to that. So this question goes like this. So they ask, will you ever speak and share about your faith and how it informs and shapes who you are? Are you spiritual? So to dive a little bit into this, I haven't really spoke about this a whole lot. I will like share it on my stories like every Sunday. If you like watch my stories, please watch my stories. But typically on Sundays, like that's like usually like my routine kind of thing. I'll go to mass every Sunday, just because it centers me, it makes me feel good, and yeah. So I'll speak a little bit about my faith, and hopefully, maybe that could kind of like get to know where I stand and how I feel about that. Kind of around in that realm. I guess that's like another dimension of things, right? Like faith, maybe that's like in the center. At least it is for me, at least. Like I would say like, how do I say, career, family, self-development. This is kind of like how I see it. And I literally just made this up on the spot. And friends, like friendships, like other kind of relationships, right? So, I guess like family is like, you could put like intimate relationships in there if you're like dating, I guess too. But like faith for me is sort of like in the center of all this. So I'll tell you why, I guess. So basically when I was growing up, I was raised Catholic, went to like baptized, first communion, confirmation, the whole shindig, the whole 9 yards, right? And basically like I went to CCD basically. So what that is essentially it's sort of like church school. Like I went to a public school, but then I sort of went to this, you had to go to like CCD, you had to go on this retreat in order to like get your confirmation. You had to do CCD to like learn about faith, learn about God, in the boundaries, I guess, if you will, of like that, like the religion that I was brought up in, like, which is Catholicism. So, yeah, and that's like how I did it. Like I did like CCD, like aside from the summer, it was sort of like, I think it was like fall and spring. We would do like my sister and I would go to CCD, like every single Wednesday night. We do CCD class for like 2.5 hours, like every single Wednesday. And yeah, so like I did that, did all that. I never, like, I haven't really read like too much of the Bible, if you will, but I've always like gone to church every single Sunday just because like that's kind of like what my family did, and like that's how I was raised. And basically that's like what I still do now that I sort of like live like on my own, right? Like I still go to mass every single Sunday. I make that time, like I try and make that time. Like obviously you sort of make time for what like matters to you, what is like a priority to you. And for me, like, since that's like in the center of these dimensions, if you will, like that's always going to be like important for me. And yeah, and I feel like everyone's got their own thing about that. It's sort of like they're, I don't know. It's sort of like, it's very like, everyone's got their own thing, like their own belief systems, belief about everything. So it's like, I'm cool with whatever you want to do. This like matters to me. This is important to me. This centers me. It gives me direction. And I feel like it just like wholeheartedly points me in it keeps me on the straight and narrow, right? It just, it's almost like this karmic kind of thing. It's like, I'm going to like be a good person. Like there's something greater than me. I'm serving something greater that, is not just for me. It's, it's something bigger than me. It's serving something bigger than me. So I think that's, however you want to see it. I think if there's something whether that's like the work that you do, whether it's like how you treat people, whether it's like how you treat yourself. If there's something that you can like sort of just point to or look to and say like, I'm serving something that's greater than me, that's like I can't even fathom that. There's something that's like very humbling about that. And yeah, so like that's sort of like what I would just speak on, and how I would say to it. And it's like, you know, just once a week I can make an hour or two to like go to mass and just like hear just like a nugget that's gonna like center me and get me right for the week. And yeah, so that's like my 2 cents about like my faith and like my journey and stuff. And like I still don't really know, you know, like I'm it's something that like I want to step into more, I guess, is that side of me. And like, you know, I feel like sometimes like we sort of, you know, I'm not gonna like go down like sort of road where like it's too like like out there, I guess, if you will. But I feel like sometimes we sort of turn to it when we're at like a low point, or like we're at our lowest, where like we sort of like turn to our faith and say like, I need this as part of like more of my life to like help me get out of this point. But like I'm sort of trying to view it as like always making it like a priority in my life, where it's like regardless of where I'm at on this like this wavelength of of this roller coaster of like of growing up and stuff, but I'm always trying to make it like during the good times and during the bad times, like that's, you know, regardless of how everything's going, like that's always going to be like at the center of everything, right? So and I feel like that's where like abundance, like you start to see a lot of abundance in your life. That's just my 2 cents, that's my opinion, and that's how I feel about it. So yeah, that's my 2 cents about my faith and everything, and how it guides me and leads me in my life. And yeah, so we got crying checked off the list, we got kids, we got faith, and now we got 2 more. We're gonna talk about college, and we're gonna talk about toxic traits. So yeah, let me rock through here and let me see if there's any comments I want to respond to, and we will just keep it going. All right, we're just gonna keep it going. So we have Lori from San Antonio. Hey, Lori. And just real quick, favorite book right now? Honestly, probably 48 Laws of Power. I just finished that. I feel like my favorite book is like my most recent book. Like when I'm reading a book, like I'm really just like in it. So I just finished 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. I'm reading Art of Seduction right now by Robert Greene as well. Loving that. We're learning how to be seductive. We're learning how to seduce. So, but 48 Laws of Power is a phenomenal book for like many different reasons. But like that's my favorite right now. Also because I just finished it. So, yeah. All right. So, last 2 questions. This next one's gonna be about college, university. So this person asks, how do you feel about university? I'm struggling with my examinations, and I also study finance too. So, yeah, when I went to college, when I was an undergrad in grad school, I majored in accounting. So I was sort of on the business side. No idea what I wanted to really do. I was just like sort of good. Thought it was like I was sort of good at accounting. Thought it like came easy to me, right? So I'm like, all right, we're gonna pick this, throw a dart at the dartboard, like as far as like what am I naturally good at, and I'm just gonna like do that, right? So that was accounting for me. On the business side, like I sort of like I've always liked numbers, I've always been a big Excel guy. On like the geeky, nerdy side of me. So yeah, but overall, like I think that I think the purpose of like college is obviously to become, you know, well educated, more well versed in like a very specific niche. And I think it's oftentimes like hard to know like what that really is, right? It's sort of just like just pick something if you're going to go to school. I think it's becoming more and more of you know, maybe not as like a completely absolute necessary thing, right? But for me, like at that time when I was 18 years old, like I didn't know what I wanted to do. So it just made the most sense for like me to go to school and just like pick something that I was sort of like naturally made sense and understood. So accounting was that for me, and college, university was that for me. and also the accounting realm and the business side just like made the most sense for me, so that's why I did it. But yeah, I think like a great benefit of university and of college is like the people that you meet, right? Like the connections that you make, like when you're in school, and like that social sphere of like being of being in like in a place where everyone is like the same age as you, everyone, relatively the same age as you, sort of like has similar priorities, like no one really knows what they're doing anyway. And you're realizing like that this time of your life is like, as long as you take it, get your stuff done, you can have a lot of fun. Like, it's in realizing like, as long as I get my stuff done, this stuff like isn't like, it's serious as far as like what you can like gain from that and take from it afterwards. But I think like an undervalued thing as far as like being in university is having fun, like literally just having fun, meeting people that you like never would have crossed paths with if you hadn't obviously chosen that. It's a very expensive networking path, if you will. However, I think there's a lot of just benefits of that like opens your how would you say, like your, I guess your network, as far as like people that and can like utilize later in your life, especially if you need to like, you're going into a specific niche where like that's gonna be useful like to you and fruitful like later on, right? So yeah, that's what I would say about university and stuff. And as far as like struggling with examinations, like for me personally, I didn't like indulge in the whole like social scene so much like when I was in college and I was in university. And so like but I don't like that, just like wasn't really for me though. So but I think there's some like benefits to, I was a little too naive to like realize this until like later on, to be like, maybe would have been a little bit smarter to like whatever, like network a little bit more. But for me, I was just like super like head down in my books, like in the library, like by myself all the time, just like studying, like, like reading, like things like that. Like, but that's just that was like me, right? And yeah. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about like university and stuff like that. But like if you're struggling with examinations and you're like, if you're struggling with like school and your schoolwork and stuff like that, then obviously, dude, like you got to crack down on that and make sure that that's all set away and squared away before you can like, before you should like go out and like enjoy like all of the like opportunities that like college like has for you, right? So it's like, get your stuff done first, get your work done first, like, and you can apply this to like the rest of your entire life, is like getting your stuff down, like prioritizing what you need to do like every single day, every single week for that matter, and then go and having fun like whenever that's done, right? Like knowing when to stop and not being workaholic, not being studyaholic, and just like enjoying like that moment, right? So yeah. All right, so we got our last question here, and I'll let you guys go. I feel like this is like right at 20 minutes, so I feel like this is a good time to just like cut it and let you guys go and have a lovely Friday night and safe Friday night and weekend. So last question is, I don't think I've answered this before, but that's why we're choosing it, is what is your toxic trait? Toxic trait. So what is our toxic trait? So personally, if I am analyzing my habits, I guess these are traits, the most toxic thing that I would say, I don't know, I feel like it's different for different people, like different like phases of your life, and obviously like situations and circumstances, right? But I would say like my sort of like off of that just answer to that fourth question was finding like the best balance between things like day to day, I would say, is sort of like, I don't know if that's like toxic, but like I feel like it's sort of like being able to get better at prioritizing, being able to get better at how I'm going to spend my time and understanding how long certain things take, so that I'm not like spilling all this stuff. Like I'm just getting the stuff done that I need to get done, and in understanding that like things like when I'm done with these things, literally like putting a boundary there and saying like I am done, like drawing a line here, I'm done. Now I'm gonna like move out of work mode, move out of like Connor, like I'm gonna go like, I don't know, go do like social things, or I'm gonna go like spend time with my friends, or I'm gonna go like check up on my family and stuff like that. So it's like, I don't know, I feel like I'm sort of like this extremist kind of individual where I have these like tendencies to like just get like super hyper focused on like one single thing and run with that. And so I'm like trying to get better at that, I guess. Like I guess that's like my toxic trait, and I'm not good at like juggling like 5 things at one time, right? Like juggling 5 balls at one time, like all these different things, right? Like it sort of just like overwhelms me. Like if I have like 1 or 2 things that like I'm just like dialed in on, then I'll just like crush that. But if I have like 6 things and I haven't like really prioritized that, I didn't have like a system to do that, like in my past, like if I didn't, I just like sucked at everything. But now like I'm getting better at just, being like, okay, today is a Friday and it's 3:30 p.m. We are going to not do work after I hop off this live. Like that's sort of like done. I did everything I needed to do. This is the last thing I needed to do for today. And whatever work that I need to do is still going to be there tomorrow. It's still going to be there Monday, right? And no one's going to die. Like lives are not at stake, right? If I don't get to like something today, like what is most important to me, right? I think is like something I'm trying to get better at. So I guess that's like my toxic trait is being like, not being able to like multitask. Like I just like suck at that, and it's being like better at like prioritizing, right? Like my toxic trait, I guess, is like being like extremist when it comes to like certain things. I'm hyper focused on certain things. So yeah, I think that's like personally, like for me, that's probably what that is. So that's my red flag, but we're working on making that a yellow flag, and then we're gonna make that a green flag. So yeah. And I'm throwing a little caramel sauce. I'm throwing a little question number 6 here, and I'll let you guys have a good day, a good night, if you will. So question number 6 is a, how would you say, ethereal one, or that's not the word, but it's like, it's a very deep question. So get ready for this. So question number 6, not in our highlights, but this is going to be some extra caramel sauce for you guys, is pizza or burgers? Which one of those two would you choose? So I would say probably pizza more. Definitely pizza more than I do burgers. But I would say, like, if I had like the best pizza in the world versus like the best burger in the world, like which one would I pick? Dude, I would probably go burger. I honestly would probably go burgers over like the best pizza in the world, like the best burger in the world. I would probably choose that because I'm thinking like my first bite of either of those would literally be the deciding factor in how I would like how I would feel after like the first bite of like the best burger in the world, or the first bite after like the best or the best pizza in the world, first bite, or like the best like burger in the world, like my first bite of that. And I feel like I would probably feel better if I had my first bite of the burger and it was like the best in the world versus like the pizza. So I'm going burger. So yeah, Kelly says pizza. Okay. And so yeah, that's all I got. Hopefully this was a little bit shorter. Hopefully you took a little bit hope you took something from this, and wasn't too long. I'm trying to get better at doing these. So bear with me as I get better at these, and hopefully we work up to 10 in a row. Also next week, I'm thinking about transitioning these from Friday to Wednesdays. Yes, Wednesdays. I might do this next Wednesday. So be on the lookout for that. Probably we'll see what time. Maybe around like the same time on Wednesdays. But I feel like on Fridays people are just like winding down throughout the week. They don't really want to like use social media. I mean, I don't know how people are. I just assume that. So I'm gonna move this up to Wednesdays, probably same time, like 3 p.m. on Wednesdays. So at 3 p.m. PST. So I think that's what we're gonna bump it to, is Wednesdays at 3 p.m. PST. And yeah, that's all I got. Have a lovely Friday. Have a safe Friday night. Have a lovely weekend. And I will see you guys soon. Love you always. Peace.